Hello there. I just got done with some car work, and now that I'm inside, I am thirsty for some good old fashioned oaky Americana. So let's taste some things. Now, I feel like I've talked about my relationship with American whiskey enough times on this channel, but run it through one more time. I think that American whiskey can deliver astonishing value, particularly in the like $20 to $30 range. Turkey, Old Grandad 114, that some of the entry level ryes, Forester rye, that kind of thing. It gets a little bit murkier once you get more expensive than that. And by the way, of course, I'm talking about American prices when I say this. Those of you elsewhere in the world, things are a little different. But it's important, I guess, to pay attention to those upper level stuff. I do think the entire category is overexposed at the moment, which is kind of why this channel exists. But give the devil its due, so to speak. So what have I got here? I have got some single barrels. I have got a single barrel pick. Both of these are Binny's picks, by the way. And full disclosure, I work for Binny's. I am in the wine department, not spirits. I figure it's less of a conflict of interest for me to review spirits than to review wines. Nevertheless, those are the folks writing my paycheck. Now you know. Two Binny's picks and a regular old pick of Jack Daniel's single barrel proof. And this is Turkey. This is Russell's Reserve. And this is a Rossville Union from MGP. So big distilleries. Everyone's tried these. Everyone knows about these. I just thought it would be fun to taste them out. All right, what have we got? I'm going to go in order of proofage here. The Russell's Reserve is a mere 55%, so we'll start with that. Single barrel, non-chill filtered. This baby is 9 years old, almost 10 years old. So distilled December 26th, 2012, and then dumped in at the end of November in 22. So again, just a month shy of 10 years old. This is barrel 21-0155, aged on floor 4 of Warehouse K. And again, it's a Binny's pick. Let's get into this. Oh, God. Okay. So right on the nose, I am getting... it's wild turkey and it's old. So we're talking definitely some vanilla, a little bit of sawdustiness. So it's very much a bourbon, but then like cologne, 1940s men's cologne, that kind of thing. Some cinnamon bun, black pepper, definitely. Hardwood smoke, maybe cherry wood smoke. Some overstewed Liptons, but what's really, really fun about turkey for me is the fermentary, grainy character of this. It's not that the mash bill on turkey is that crazy. It's that the distillation strength is so low compared to what you get, even in the rest of, even compared to like Beam. These guys distill, stuff comes off pretty low off the still. It's very, very close to the grain and to the fermentation. Orange peel. Oatmeal, really everything is, the cologne note is really permeating everything, and that's what I love. That kind of just fermentary thing. It's floral, but not really. It's more like a mix of, perfumes, and it makes me happy. Like a fresh oatmeal thing, maybe a mix of grains, like a porridge kind of stuff. And something that reminds me, there's some kind of like apple pastry with a lot of cinnamon in it. Like, not a strudel. Why am I thinking strudel? Whatever that is, this is a very cinnamony apple pastry is kind of what I'm smelling. On the palate. Ooh. I love turkey. I'm a turkey fanboy. If I had to pick one of the big Kentucky distilleries to save, this would be the one. So we're getting everything from the nose. The vanilla, the cologne, the cinnamon bun thing, the stewed tea, the orange kind of character, the oatmeal. But what's added on the palate is a kind of a sweetness to this. It arrives very sweet, and it's a very kind of beautiful, cinnamon vanilla, but also like almost molassesy sweetness. That's kind of how it arrives, and then lots and lots of pepper on the development. I mean, you could accuse the finish of maybe being a hair short. It's still very pleasantly kind of, cherry woody, ashy, peppery. But that's really the only problem I can point to is the finish is maybe just a hair falls off a little bit. I mean, this is, if I ever have like someone from Europe coming to visit me, and they know Scotch, they know their cognacs and armagnacs and all the stuff, and but they haven't really dug into bourbon very much, and they kind of look down on it. The one I'm probably going to serve them is going to be a turkey, and this is a perfectly good one. I don't think. The one I really love is probably Rare Breed. This is probably right there in quality with Rare Breed, but I just like that style a little better. All right, that's 4. So close enough. Moving on to something a bit more new. I mean, I've done Russell's Reserve before, so that's not special. But this is a Rossville Union, one of those MGP house brands that no one really seems to care about. Although people are picking up on Remus, which is nice. Now, Rossville Union single barrels use a whole variety of different mash bills. Now, I think people are kind of sleeping on the new MGP mash bill. So everyone knows the standard, already pretty high-ish rye bourbon mash bill, which is not my favorite. Everyone knows the 36% rye bourbon mash bill because Smoke Wagon and all that stuff. Everyone knows the 95% rye because it's in everything. It's the most ubiquitous rye mash bill I can think of. But people aren't thinking so much about the 51% rye, barely legal rye that they just came out with a couple of years ago. But that's pretty awesome. I mean, if you like Smoke Wagon and you want that mash bill but a little bit more rustic, go hunt down something with that 51% rye bill. And then there's this, which is also 51% rye, but the rest, there's no corn in it. Like the 95%er, they've cut out the weakest link in American whiskey. There's no corn in this. The other 49% is entirely malted barley. And that's fun because this is now edging into close to the territory of the straight malt, one of the nerdiest and most underutilized spirits categories in American whiskey. Straight malt is a traditionally mashed American-style whiskey, but 51% of the mash has to be malted barley. And there's a few out there. There's a Jack Daniel's, which I don't find particularly interesting, but it feels like one of those categories people should be playing with more. And this should be edging into that place. One of the annoying things about Rossville Union is they don't provide a whole lot of information on the bottle, so I actually printed out the tag to remind myself of what the heck this is. This is single barrel number 405. Again, it's Binny's pick. 51 rye, 49 malted barley, aged 5 years in a steel rick house. And that's about all I can tell you. Bottled circa 2022. Here we go. Whoa. That is a fun nose. Lots of little things going on. Hard to disentangle it all. Cream cheese, but also like coffee cake. There's some cinnamony notes. Certainly some like fall leaves going, like so just a bunch of dried, multicolored leaves. Throw it in there. Aniseed, and rhubarb. Honestly, rhubarb pie, Darjeeling leaves, dried grass. It's actually very grassy. Now that I picked up on it, that's like half of what I'm smelling. This is very grassy, but nice. Balkan style black bread, like sourdough black rye. There's a chocolatey character to this too, like a Mexican spiced chocolate. The like stone ground stuff that costs way too much money. Pencil shavings. Pepper, pumpernickel as well. And something that puts me in mind of like New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc. There's that little bit of herbaceousness, like edging on celery, but it's not quite celery. I mean, this is really fun. This is a really fun nose. It does feel, it feels like a 5-year-old American whiskey nose. But that's not necessarily a problem. Let's give this a shot. Here we go. Ooh. Hefty. Did I mention this is 61.5% alcohol? I've mentioned it now. So again, you could accuse this of being a little bit young and raw, but I say that I don't mean to say that that's taking away from this. It's more like this feels like it could age long. I mean, most ryes I can think of, once they're up to 5-6 years old, it feels like they're perfectly ready to go. This feels like it could keep going. This feels like it could age it longer. This could be an 8-10-year-old, no problem. Pumpernickel, black licorice, raw cacao with some rhubarb pie, or really like something halfway in between rhubarb pie and cough syrup, really, like Robitussin, but nice. Dried grass, lots of pepper, a little bit of bell pepper too, actually. So maybe that's that New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc thing kicking back in. I usually don't get bell pepper on whiskey, so this is really fun for me. Cinnamon, Darjeeling again. There is like a Swedish character to this too, like the Russell's Reserve. It does feel young, but there's tons of depth on this, and you can just tell that more time, not to develop further oak, because this has plenty of oak on it already, but to develop those kind of deeper tertiary notes a little bit further would absolutely put this into the stratosphere. Keep an eye on this mash bill. Like, if you start to see 8-10-year-old 49% malt MGP ryes out there, they're probably worth a shot. All right, let's try this one more time. It's fun and it's very good, and it feels like it's got room to grow. Let me give that a couple squirts. 3, 4, 5. It's going to need at least 5. Okay, let us move on. All right, Jack Daniel's single barrel proof once again. So I reviewed a barrel pick of this stuff by Frugal McDougal, I think last year, and I absolutely loved it. It was one of the best sort of traditionally characterized American whiskeys I've had for a long time, and I gave it a very excessive score. This is not a Frugal McDougal pick. This is just a regular old single barrel, and this is barrel number 22-03892, bottled April 13th, 2022, and also it's a half bottle. The standard size ones got ripped off the shelf the second they arrived, but these stayed in the miniatures case for quite a while. I don't think people realized they were here. Anyhow, let's see what's going on. Jack Daniel's is... I don't know quite what to think of them right now. I gave up on them a long time ago, back in the days when they dropped the proof on the black label and then killed off the green label and essentially made the black label into the new green label at 40%. And I said, hell with you guys, I'm moving on. And then stuff like this started to come out, which was really, really good, and I've sort of been pulled back in. Ooh. So let's nose this and taste this, give it a score. I mean, it smells like Jack Daniel's. I mean, it's a 66.2% example of Jack Daniel's, but that's most of what I'm getting. This smells younger and a bit simpler than the Frugal McDougal pick. But we're getting cherry pie, banana peels, kind of like a corn tortilla note. Hardwood smoke again. I mentioned cherrywood smoke on the the Russell's Reserve. This is getting a mix of different things. I'm getting cherrywood smoke, but there's also some oak smoke, maybe a touch of hickory, pecan maybe. So a mix of sweeter styled hardwood smokes. Some kind of like cookie, like grainy cookie, almost like vanilla wafers, but if you made them with like really tough doughs, they came out like kind of almost biscuity. So that has to exist. I don't have a name for that. Tree bark, a little bit of tree bark. It's not. Normally when I get tree bark, I would say like birch beer or sarsaparilla. Okay, I'm gonna say tree bark / sarsaparilla, something like that. But it's pretty raw. That's mostly it. That's most of what I'm getting on this. It smells nice. I'm curious to see if it'll open up with water. On the palate. Not subtle. Really not subtle. And definitely younger and kind of rougher than the pick I tried last year. But good and very, very, very American whiskey. Cherry pie, but also dried cherry in there. God, and the banana is just kicking on this. Banana peel all over the place. Tree bark, sarsaparilla, pepper, almost like a mud thing. Yeah, just straight mud. Vanilla fudge. That kind of corn tortilla note. Did I mention that already? And the hardwood smoke thing as well. More cherry wood on this time around than the others. And even like the banana is all over the place. It's almost like a bananas Foster thing along with a banana peel. The finish is tricky. It holds for a long time, but it doesn't go back very far in my mouth. I've been trying to think of terminology for this, and I'm going to try out the term mouth length. What I mean by that is just how far back does the event happen in one's mouth? Is it like all in the front, or does it kind of go back way past your molars into your throat? This is mostly staying, towards the front of my mouth. My molars are getting a little bit of action, but not a whole lot, which tells me this is probably pretty dang young. But, it's got a lot of character. All right, I'll come back to that after I add some water. A lot of water. This is going to need at least 6 squirts. 3, 4, 5, and 6. Got it. Ooh. Okay. Back to the Russell Reserve. Now with a little bit of water on the nose. Ooh. This is why I love turkey. It's just, Scotch reviewers often talk about the importance of the distillate, of the character of the distillate coming through without being pounded to death by wood. With American whiskey, it's really, really difficult a lot of the time, especially with bourbon, to have a distillate with a lot of character coming through. But this, absolutely does. Like, I'm getting mint and basil now that I've added water. I'm guessing that's not from the wood. That's from what's coming off the still. There's more orange. There's a little chamomile happening. Yeah, this is the big Kentucky producer for me. I'm sorry if you are like a Heaven Hill fan, a Buffalo Trace fan. I understand, but this is the one I'm going with. All right, on the palate. Huh. Definitely getting some basil and mint on the palate too. It's almost, how do I describe this? I want to say it simplifies, but that's not the right way of putting it. It's more like it streamlines itself. It squats down and gets very aerodynamic, like a Bugatti Veyron. So very minty. The cologne, minty and basil-y. The cologne kind of merges in with that, so it's kind of like this cologne herbal thing. Very peppery. The mouthfeel improves tremendously. Not tremendously, a little bit. I was complaining about the length of the finish before. Adding water kind of solves that, which is what I want to see. And the oatmeal is very present as well. Yeah, this is just a good example of a fantastic distillate. I'm going to go with that. Score-wise, I can't go crazy, but this gets an 87 out of 100 from me. Really nice barrel of bourbon. I'm sorry, really nice bottle of bourbon. Moving on. Let's get our nose stuck back into this Rossville rye malt thing. On the nose. Huh. I mean, the impression I'm getting is almost like MGP meets Auchentoshan. It's like I'm getting like Balkan black rye bread meets grass candy. And it kind of works. I mean, this is just a fun profile. I really like the smash bill. I really like the smash bill. All right, on the palate, here we go. If you're wondering what that sound is, that is the fan on my computer slowly dying, and you need to replace it pretty soon. Not a lot of development on this Rossville Union. Some pepper comes out a little bit. Yeah, this is really good. It's really complex. I do think like what you want to buy of this is like an 8 to 10-year-old version of this. Yeah, not a ton of development, but that's okay. I am going to give this, I did give it an 85, which I'm going to disagree with. This deserves a little bit higher. Let's give it an 85 plus. It's just a really nice example of a spirit you can recognize immediately. Like this tastes like an American whiskey. It tastes like nothing else. You would never put this anywhere else in the world. But it's its own version of that. I really like this. Again, older versions. Watch out for older versions of this. All right, moving on to the final bottle of the night. Back to Jack Daniel's single barrel proof Tennessee whiskey. It actually gets... So I tried to avoid the word simplification before, but this really does smell a little bit simpler than it was. Don't accuse me of drowning this, because I didn't. Yeah, with water, the earthy side, the muddy side, kind of drops out. And I'm mostly left with like Kirschwasser, cherry eau de vie, and a little bit of banana peel. That's really it. Maybe a little bit hint of that hardwood smoke thing. I mean, it's still lovely. It's just, there's not a whole lot going on. It's like, hello? Anyone home? All right, well, okay, let's see what happens in the mouthfeel. So on the plus side, the mouthfeel and the mouth length, if you're going to run with that term, improve. This is now going well past my molars and kind of back into my throat, which is nice. That's what I want to see. But aside from the pepper kind of kicks up and everything else pulls way back. A lot of the like on the nose, a lot of the character of this just disappears with water, which is not what I like. I mean, well, so first of all, this is certainly a disappointment after that Frugal McDougal pick I tried. This is not, I can tell it's the same, family, the same style of whiskey. It's just not on game today. It's just not showing what it's got. It's fine, but it's also like I'm put in a corner here. Like this is something I would absolutely drink neat because I think water kind of wrecks it a little bit. But at the same time, it's 66 darn %, and I'm not sure how much I want to drink, like a young oak bomb at that strength. So I'm a little torn. I am kind of glad I only went in for a half bottle of this. 84 minus. 84 minus. Good, but not that good, and it's got problems. So yeah, we did not end strong with this episode, but we started strong. The Russells is just great. I know these are getting harder and harder to find, but if you see Russell's Reserve single barrel out there, it is definitely worth a grab. rare breed, in my opinion, even more worth a grab. Rossville Union, this particular mash bill, tons and tons and tons of fun. I really like this mash bill, and again, I hate to keep saying it, I want to see older versions of it because I think they will absolutely shock a lot of people. And 84 minus for this barrel proof Jack Daniels. So yeah, that's kind of our experiment for the day with premium American whiskey. Thanks for watching, and cheers.